I don't want all them balls. Got the 620 on the titter. Hey, I say hey too much, but that's how I say hello. Hey, an update on the hay. I was worried about being too much moisture in it, and I'd covered it over. And to keep the dew off of it, they weren't calling for rain. And somebody was going to come and get some bales, and they did. They took, I don't know, under 30 bales. That's all I felt comfortable letting them take that I thought was dry enough. The rest of the hay, it was crazy. It was more moisture in it. It was wetter the next morning in the bale on the wagon than it was out in the field when I baled it. And I mean, I know that happens. It's happened plenty of times before. But I was surprised to the extent it happened. It was really, really bad. I may tomorrow just drop it back in the field and open up the bales. I'm serious. Go around the field, throw a bale off every 20 feet, cut the strings on it, spread it out, and then hit it with the tedder and go back and rake it up and bale it again. It's after it dries. I'm serious. I mean, what else am I going to do with it? I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to do all of it, and some of it I didn't bale. There's some of it up there that I didn't bale. I just figured it wasn't any use putting any more in a bale. And that updates us on that. It's crazy, and it's if I lose all the hay, it's no big deal. It's not like I need it to pay a mortgage or anything. I don't. But it's nice. It's a good feeling to put up some really nice hay and get top dollar for it. And that's what I like to do. And because it is some pretty hay. Gosh, it was pretty soft, and the cattle, the horses, well, any animal would love it. Yeah, it's just really nice stuff. Yeah. But the bales were so spongy, you could hardly pick one up. And the baler was, because the hay was so soft, it wasn't making the bales right. It would be making the bales 7 feet long sometimes. It was just a real pain. But I wasn't going to do a video today. Just had a lot of other stuff going on. It was a hectic day, and you remember the repair I did on my hay cutter back in the spring. Had to do some welding on it, welded up a crack and welded some guards back on there, and had to fix part of the drive. Had to put new U-joints in the one double U-joint drive shaft that goes down there to the first cutter. Well, I haven't seen it leaking, and before when I picked it up, I could see it had been leaking gear grease, gear oil, whatever you want to call it, that 80, 90 weight, whatever, 120 weight. I hadn't seen where it had been leaking, any puddles or anything, and I know I had enough in there when I started cutting, but just because I haven't seen it, evidently doesn't mean it's not leaking, because the level got low enough it burned up one bearing on one of the idlers in there, and I thought, well, it ain't no biggie. Let me show you. First, let me say that engineers that design these things should be forced at gunpoint, if necessary, to have to work on them and repair them. But first, I'm not talking about a brand new one in pristine condition. They should strip all the paint off of it and dip it in saltwater brine, and then take a bunch of monkeys with ball peen hammers and go all over it, and then cover it with grease and dirt and plaster it on there, and then make them go to work on it. Then I think they would design things differently. They designed this thing stupidly. Engineered it unintelligently, I should say. Let me show you. Okay, these are the cutter heads. We kind of call them turtles. That's what people call them anyway. They spin around, and these are on their own. They got a little gear, and they turn and it bolts on down there. And in between them is two idlers. And the idlers is the bearing that went bad is this idler here. I said, well, it ain't no big deal. I'll pull this cutter head off. That'll open up that hole there. I'll pull this up and just pull the idlers out of the hole and replace the bearings, slide them back in there, and put everything together, and no big deal. Well, the absolute geniuses that designed this thing made it so that hole was too small to get that gear out of it. Ain't no way to do it, no matter what you do. They designed it so that you have to take out, it must be 70 or 80 at least bolts, if not 100 bolts. Here, all up and down, all to hold this thing together, all the way up, take the whole top plate off to be able to get to these to replace a bearing. Ain't no farmer gonna do that. They just ain't gonna do it. You try to take this to a dealer for repair, it would cost so much in labor, you just might as well buy another one. So, you know I ain't gonna do it that way. I'm basically gonna get my cutoff wheel on my little 4.5-inch handheld grinder, and I'm gonna slice this thing right there and right there, just wide enough so I can get one of these gears out, measure close, and then I can just pull that gear out and get a new bearing, put everything back together, bolt this piece back on there and weld up where I did that, and let the good times roll. Because there just ain't no way I'm taking, I mean, all of them are rusted out, and it's just, there's no way to do that, to dismantle a whole cutter head to replace one bad bearing. Whereas if they had designed it so that this hole was big enough to pull these idlers out, it'd be a really simple fix. Well, anyhow, I'm going to get my cutter, and well, first I'm going to measure real close, and then I'm going to get my cutter wheel out, put my narrowest cutter wheel, cut-off wheel on my handheld grinder, and open her up. So I'll show you as the job progresses. We'll see how it goes. I think it'll work. Most things I do work. Billet is point man on this job. Snoopy said it was too much for him. I'll just remind you why I went ahead and baled that, even though I thought it may be a little too much moisture in it. It felt really good and dry. It really did, but it was crabgrass. When it gets crabgrass in it and some of those other grasses that grow in there, even though it makes really, really nice hay and animals love it, it's hard to get it, the moisture down enough. It's much harder than with orchard grass. And but I baled it because they were talking about nothing but all cloudy day the next day, and then cloudy with good chance of rain the day after that. So I figured it felt good. I thought it'd be all right, but no, sir. And if the bales were a little bit, if you could handle them, they weren't so loose and spongy, I would just stack them up there or spread them out in the barn and wait for them to dry. But it's just, they're so loose and it's just crazy. They weren't loose when we baled them, but sitting on the wagon overnight, it just got ridiculous to try to handle. So anyway, I guess if you round bale, you never have to worry about that though, do you? Maybe not. Hey, I said hey again, didn't I? I got out of the habit of saying hey, but really, what's the harm in that? I'm going to measure that gear in there and see how big a slice I got to cut in this thing. And it's about that size, so I got to cut something like that size slice in this thing. Yep. Let me scratch that in there a little better, and then I'll go ahead and cut it. Give it a try. That'll mostly cut. Need to do a little bit more on this edge, I think. It will lift him off. Let's see if we can pry it up a little bit. I don't know. Well, some, but still got the piece of this on this side. I might have to get a little bit of a chisel and work on that. Let's see what happens. Even though I torched it, there's a little bit left under there. So that nut on that countersunk bolt, I'm going to have to grind that. So let me grit that ground some. Looks like I may have done the trick. Yep, there you go. Woo! Yeah, there's your bad bearing right there. Neato. Yep. I don't want all them balls falling around in there, causing troubles. There you go. Yeah, we got him out. Yeah, I just need to get a new bearing. Press in there. Get me some good grease and put in there, and we'll be set. And I'll probably try to wash this out some. But not too much. Just a little bit. Alright. Hey, you know doggone well they could have made that hole big enough that you could have got them in and out of. Like I say, they need to make the engineers, they need to force them to work on these things so they can see why they designed it wrong. Alright. Let me find the part number of this bearing and then get one coming. I'm done for tonight. It's 8 o'clock or so. Whew. Yeah, we can see some numbers on there. It's a KBC. Korean. 6208. Yep. We'll call up Easy Bearing, talk to Daryl tomorrow. Yeah, I can get them in a day or two. We'll be rolling again before you know it. Yeah. We now rejoin the continuing saga of the high moisture hay. Well, I tore into this load here and let a few of the bales sit up on the side to breathe in the sun. And it is some pretty hay, but it just was, it's hard to get hay with that orchard, no, excuse me, not the orchard grass, but the crabgrass in it to dry this time of year. And that poor load over there was so spongy, it's it's leaning way to the side and getting ready to fall off. It's just dripping over the edge. Look at that. The bales are just dripping over the edge, just like a snow on a roof. So I don't like this one. That's how soft that hay was. It's nuts. But anyhow, these are the driest ones, the ones that were the firmest, that weren't too wet. And I haven't done anything with that yet. I guess I should tear into that, but some of it I did. Actually open up, well, threw them back in the field here, and I'm opening them up and spreading them out, because I just I know it's crazy. I know it's absolutely nutty. Some guys out there watching this video. Oh, here, isn't it? Look at this darn fool. That boy is opening up bales of hay and putting them back out in the field. What's the matter with him anyway? I already did this one. Well, you can see I got them lined up there. I did this one line here. I got to run over with the tedder yet. That hay over there is hay that I didn't bale the other day. But I know it ain't worth it, but well, it kind of is. If I can get it dried and make nice bales of it. See how this is how the bales were acting. Just all real loose like that anyway. It's crazy. If I can make a nice bale out of it, yes, it's got a lot of weight in it, and it's just, you can feel the moisture in there when you pull it out. It's just too much moisture. It wouldn't last stacked up. But if I get it dry, get it cured, get it back in a nice bale, I mean, I get $11 a bale for it. So it makes it kind of worth the experiment anyhow. Anyhow, I started doing this because they were calling for 3 or 4 days of really sunny, nice weather, and then as soon as I started doing this, I went in the house and looked at the weather forecast. Now they're saying 30% chance of thunder showers today. So it's kind of cloudish. But anyhow, we're going to go ahead and keep on with it. This is the great Un-Baling. Let it dry a little more. A couple days. This is Thursday. I'm see how it feels on Saturday. Put it in a bale. I'll let you know how it goes. I know it don't make any sense, but I might make a couple bucks off the video, so it makes it worthwhile there too. Anyway, let me get to spreading some out. I'll catch up with you after a while. If I could get these dogs to help out, we'd be set. They won't do much. Well, looks threatening, but it hadn't rained yet. I haven't heard any thunder, so I guess I'll keep spreading it out. I got all the bales opened up and kicked out a little bit. I'm going to run the tedder over it and see how that does. Run it over there real slow. Got the 620 on the tedder.